Hello and welcome to episode 191 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Home.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how you doing this fine 4th of July?
Doing pretty good, Darby. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm free.
He's free. We are free. This is a free podcast. We ain't no communist markets. Oh, God. Yeah, we are spending our 4th of July not partying, but instead recovering from partying yesterday and talking about video games. So this is going to be a very, at least from this side of the table, very mellow, chill vibes, because maybe have a little bit of a hangover, but it's going to be all right, you know.
I don't have a hangover. I don't drink.
Jeff's just perpetually, like, his life force is leaving his body perpetually.
True. The sun drains it.
He sacrificed half of his life force to Nintendo, like, long ago. Yeah.
That's how Banjo got in Smash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the price.
It wasn't free, folks.
No. You're welcome.
Oh, we got some good stuff today. We have a few cool news stories, but then I think the bulk of the podcast will probably be looking at the remainder of 2021 and just gauging hype for what's coming. Jeff has quite a meaty list of games. I'm sure some of them we'll just touch briefly, but there's some gems in there. We'll also find the gems within that. We have Kazuya and Smash. We have another game topic that you'll see. We have some cool stuff.
Yeah. A surprising sequel announcement that I'm excited for. Oh. Let's get to it with Kazuya.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happened like right after we recorded last week's episode. Or maybe it was before. I don't care. Around when we recorded, Sakurai did his Sakurai Presents for Kazuya, and he released like the next day. So he is out. We have that presentation.
We do. He nerded out about Tekken, showed us the Devil Gene bloodline.
Yes.
There was a family tree.
Yes. If you don't know the Mishima family tree, you know it now.
I mean, you vaguely know it now if you're like me and you kind of zoned out during that part.
Yeah.
But we've actually got our hands on him. I think you might have played a little bit more than me. Jeff, what's your first take?
He's crazy.
He's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild.
Just from that Sakurai Presents and then actually playing, it's like, yeah, there are a lot of moves there. This is the one character that, like other regular fighting games, we can just button match and stuff comes out
Differently. Different things.
Yeah. We can button mash this match, but you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's simple enough.
I love them. I really do. Like, I kind of expected, I honestly, like, when I saw all this stuff, I was like, this is awesome. I'm so glad it's in the game. I don't think I'll, like, hardly ever play him. And who knows? I mean, I still think he's, like, there's a lot going on, and I think he is very easily punishable. But the moves are very, very fun, and, like, while there are a lot of them, I feel like you can decently quickly learn what does what and everything, and it's not the hardest thing to get out. I'm sure in the heat of battle, getting the diagonal up A and down A will probably not always come out as cleanly as you want it to. But, like, he's very interesting because I feel like he kind of has an answer for everything, or, like, for every direction people can be around him, but it's not, like, usually if someone's that way, it's because of their, like, smash attack or their specials or something. It's interesting that he can just, like, kind of halt people out of the air with a, like, upward kick and then do this. Like, it's cool how you can chain these normals together, which is not really, like, I feel like normal attacks in Smash is just not usually a big deal, you know? Not as big of a deal as this, you know?
Yeah, because people chain stuff together, but those are the really talented people. Kazuya, more than any other character, is made to be able to chain this stuff in.
Right.
Like, people have been posting videos of level 9 CPU Kazuya, and it is doing some, combos, which I would say the other characters, level 9 CPUs, don't do that.
Right.
That's just a part of his character.
No, he plays totally different. He feels like a completely different type of character for Smash.
Yeah, but I feel like, at least from a more casual standpoint, he's a good character, because even just his specials, his B attacks, and his smash attacks and general stuff, like, okay, there's enough simplicity there to, for casual people, there's enough there for people to go in and have fun and just hit people hard.
Yeah, you can still kind of play him like a normal Smash character and not use some of the stuff, or at least not use it often, like you said, because just his side he just has like a beam that goes forward. He has a straight dash and he has a up. It's like that part of his kit. Like honestly, the special part of his kit is pretty easily accessible. Not that complicated. And he hits like a truck, just like every DLC character. I mean, that is like maybe getting a tad old to me. That just every character feels like he's like is like that type of character where it's just bam, But that being said, that you can obviously do some damage with him without that. But this, I feel like, is definitely the highest like you can show off with this character by doing some wild stuff.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think he is. Like the skill ceiling, like he can do so much, but I also think he's pretty easily punishable if the person doesn't know what they're doing and you do.
Yeah, like even in multiplayer when it's not just a 1v1, you're trying to combo on people. Some other person can punish you while you're in the middle of that.
It takes so long to get through the 10-hit combo that, in 4-player Smash, you're not reaching the end of that often,
No. Plus people can shield and stuff out of it.
Right, that's the thing I didn't know from looking at the trailer. I'm glad there is a point in that 10-hit combo where you can get out of it if you, like, shield or counter in the right way or something.
Yes, the very least is not an instant 40 damage or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta time it right, but like even when I was going against like a level 7 computer, and like they were able to get out of sometimes and everything, which I think is good.
Yeah.
And in general, I really like the diagonal A's and stuff because it's more of a subtle change, but like he has the normal punch, but if you go like diagonal down A, like he goes up like this, so it's like if someone's falling down, you can like.
Yeah, I forget the exact one. I think it might be like diagonal down A. I don't remember. Yeah, but I just like when he does like a 2 kind of upper kick thing, because I think one of them is supposed to be able to deflect projectiles, which is a cool thing. Right. And then I think you hit with the second one, it does it launches them at a pretty weird angle, which depending on the character and the percentage makes it harder for them to recover. Right, because it's just kind of. I don't know the best way to say, maybe like a 45-degree angle or something. They just go and they might past the edge of the stage.
Yeah, he can play with like, I feel like the spacing and angle game is like way more important with Kazuya than it is with like any other character. And I like that like some of those like side, I know like some of the side A like has its own mini combo. Like if you hit it twice, he goes like kick, like he kicks up and then kicks back down.
Yeah, I think that's the combo I'm specifically talking about.
Yeah. And that stuff's cool because I mean, you really, I feel like you can checkmate someone. Like they think they're safe, but then they forget that you have this weird angle that you can get them at. Like usually, if you're like up but diagonal to someone, you're kind of safe there. But Kazuya, if you're smart enough and quick enough, you can do the side and get.
Yeah, and after playing it some, I definitely think Sakurai was right with. He has all these moves you can do. You technically don't have to do. Just learn a couple that work for you and just. Focus on those.
Yeah, he's very well rounded, like you said. Like, I think you'll be, if you're playing at a casual level and you only use half the moves, I think you could still win. Yeah.
For the people at that level, they just use specials and smash type primarily. I think he's a good character for that.
Yes, but I also don't see right now him being something that's broken on the professional end either, because I think that he has some very slow moving attacks, and he's kind of like locked. Once you commit to something, you're kind of locked into the animation more than some other characters. So I could especially see like a fast character kind of not being good against like a super speedy character.
Yeah.
When I did it against Ryu, of course, because I just had to do the cannon thing. I don't know. Against like slower characters like that, you can punish them pretty hard. This Kazuya. Yeah, so he's cool. I like him a lot. I'm very impressed and like kind of surprised.
Because as far as the character itself, have you messed with the stage much at all?
Yeah, I did the training thing on the stage there, which I mean it's definitely a more simple stage, but I really like the effects that go on at the end, the side when you like crash through it.
Yeah, it's kind of just a variation, it feels like, of the King of Fighters stage. It's just kind of different way you have the barriers that you got to break through, but now there's the barrier on top as well.
Right.
And it does rebuild and all that kind of stuff, and I like it. It's different. It looks nice.
I generally like the like simple stage with like a gimmick, like a like cool little thing about it, like the King of Fighters stage. And I think this is similar to that. I do think it's cool.
Yep. And there's one final thing before we go. from Kazuya and / Smash. Sakurai killing everyone's dreams left and right with those Mii costumes. With one final character left, Sakurai's like, I'm sorry, I'm not letting you guys have hope for this last character. You don't know who they are. Dante, gone. That was what everyone's thought. Like, oh, Dante's obviously next.
Yep.
Nope.
We got Dante in Smash. There you go.
Well, yeah.
There you go. He's in Smash.
Shantae.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not surprising.
Yeah,
I mean, this is better than nothing.
I'm glad we're getting something. Like, yeah. This was the best it was going to get, unfortunately.
Dragonborn, Dovahkiin.
Yeah. That was surprising.
Yep. What's the last one? Oh, yeah, Lloyd.
Lloyd, yeah.
Yeah,
Lloyd.
from Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah.
And that's not surprising. I figured that was coming the moment Kazuya was announced.
Yeah, since this is Bandai Namco. Yeah, none of those are surprising. It does make me realize, I mean, we all kind of thought that like a Dovahkiin Skyrim Elder Scrolls type rep was like on the table, and I think this confirms that yes, it was. It's obviously
it's something that was in their mind,
right? It's some negotiate. It was in this whole swirl of thing. It was obviously not character, but it was Mii costume. That just means like it could have been.
Yeah.
Like anytime we see a Mii costume, I'm like, okay, they chose not to, but they also could have chose to. You know, it's like so. Which is not necessarily surprising at all, because Xbox is definitely buddy with them at this point.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that it's like in the future, I really wonder if we're going to get more Xbox Nintendo crossovers in other games. Obviously, Smash is just like the one. Like, it's not going to be an often thing, and Smash is a special exception. But the fact that they keep getting things, whether it's Cuphead.
Yeah. Well, I will say for like everything that could have been because we don't know when exactly, like Mii costumes specifically, when those contracts and stuff are negotiated. It could technically have been just Bethesda. So that's mainly me saying that, mainly because I'm not ruling out Master Chief being the last character.
Yeah, it's possible. It's certainly possible.
Not saying he's 100%, but I think there's a chance.
Yeah, there is. Anything's a chance.
Yep. Except Dante.
Oh, sad. Pour one out for the internet.
Yeah. Remember when Byleth was going to be Dante? Good times. Well, Darby, I heard you saw the mystery of the Obra Dinn.
I did. Single-handedly, definitely didn't need my sister for like over half of it.
You know, you're civil. You're practically one person.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yes, I won't have a ton to say here, but we did beat Return of the Obra Dinn without looking up guides.
We got a pro gamer here.
The closest thing there was one person that was like had these like interesting looking tattoos, and we're like, are they from this one place? And I just looked up that place tattoos, and the guy from Obra Dinn showed up as the first result. So I'm like, okay, well, so I guess that's the closest thing to something all we did was like, okay, well, he's this guy. But outside of that, no looking up guides. We got all the people saw the ending, and it's like, yeah, this just from top to bottom was a very, very good and super duper unique game. I can't really think of any other. I'm sure there's examples, but I can't think of any other puzzle game that's like that was like this or very similar, because it's very much like thought puzzles instead of like physical puzzles. But the way that they did it was just so fascinating. How you could like you would just hear the audio of like a scene that was playing, and then someone would die in that scene. It would freeze frame, and you're just like, you have to like look to see who all was there and the person that died, and you have to try to figure out who everyone on the ship was and how they died, which was like, the ways that you found them out were just like it was very not what you were used to with video games. It's like, they're going to show me something here. It's like, no, you really have to deduce this shit out. And there's times you could be like, they even say at the beginning, it's like, you're not going to be able to 100% know everyone. There's some of these people you're going to like know some things around them and have to like take a guess. Which especially later on got very, very true, where it's like, okay, there's only like 2 English people left. This guy like looks vaguely English, let's try this or whatever. And he's okay. He in this picture, he's standing next to all the other top men. It was like one of the people or whatever. It's like, okay, there's one top man left. Let's try that. Hey, it was him. There was lots of, almost every time we like got something right, it was this like, were cheering, satisfied. It made you work for it, but you felt like really like you earned something there. And then on top of that, it was just a really, really cool overarching story that went places that like I thought, okay, this is going to be a very grounded 1800s merchant ship thing or whatever. It's like, no, it goes out there, it goes places that none of us were expecting in just really cool way, and you get the story like completely out of order and in the exact perfect pace where it's like you're really confused and it's like, oh, that clicks into place. It's like, but what about this? And it's like a few chapters later, oh, that goes there. It's very, very satisfying.
Nice.
And I would highly recommend playing it with someone else, with a friend or a significant other or something.
Yeah, I imagine with this, the way the game is it's a lot easier and more satisfying, or feel better bouncing off ideas off someone.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Be able to talk it out.
I there's no way I would have played through all of this game by myself. Just cause I almost think it's just not even meant for that. I'm sure there's people that would really enjoy that, but like almost everyone I hear online did the same thing. And I know Jacob played with his girlfriend the same way, and I know a lot of other people did. But it's as good as people said, for sure. It's one of the most unique games I've ever played. And like the fact that it was made by Lucas Pope, one guy who also made Papers, Please, is wild. Like he had other people do the voice acting, but like in the credits, that's it. There's like credits for the voice acting. Lucas Pope did the story and the music, which is killer. The music is incredible, and sound design is just so damn good. He did like everything else. And now he's definitely another guy that like as soon as he says he's working on something else, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm in. I'm totally in.
Nice.
Yeah. Great game. Everybody should play it. At least give it a shot.
Now I need to find a buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, after I play it once, I can't play it with you.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, I wonder who this guy is. Like, I don't know. Who could he be?
Jeff, why don't you look on me?
Yeah, that would be a bad experience.
Yeah, I know. All right, Darby.
Time
news.
For some news, Jeff.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Oh.
Ooh. Got a lot of Sony this week, Darby.
Oh, Sony ponies over here.
Some good, some bad.
Seems to be Sony these days.
Yep. Well, let's talk about acquisitions, Darby. Everyone's favorite topic.
Everyone loves them. I love just
100%.
gobbling up people's hopes and dreams.
Yes.
My big fat stacks.
Yeah. Microsoft been opening up their wallets. Tony's like, you know what? Let's do the same a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Grease some palms. I don't even think that makes sense here.
Yeah. Well, first one we'll start with. Sony has officially acquired Housemarque, the developers of Returnal and Resogun and others.
Probably a vote of confidence in Returnal and its sales. I don't think we actually saw sales numbers.
We don't.
But I'm going to assume that they were pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious. I guess one of those things, we don't know exactly this worked or what the negotiations were, but I imagine based on timing, it was at least a little bit of, okay, or at least from Sony's side, we want to see how this Returnal shakes out, and if it, meets this threshold.
Yeah. Well, if y'all are going to be a bona fide, like, big studio for us to do big things.
Yeah. But as far as Housemarque in general, I don't think this is a surprising one. Sony just kind of has the mentality generally of like, okay, this particular developer has been working with us for quite a while, making exclusive games and all that. So let's just go ahead and make sure they can't make games for anyone ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not surprising. And I think a lot of people I would understand if they already thought they were owned, because everything has been, most things they've done have been tied to,
or at least the big ones that people know.
Yeah, similar to like Insomniac. Like, yeah, they had other things, but like, especially if you're very casual, you'd just be like, oh yeah, Resogun was like, and I think it makes sense. I think it's more interesting that like Returnal, while it wasn't something for me, like it does stand out in the Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Sucker Punch type games or whatever. It's the third person action adventure games. Like this is definitely something that was more niche, cool, like kind of unique concept. Even if it's not for me, I do think they're, at least from seeing Returnal, it's not like, it's like, okay, well, you need to start making like games just like all the rest of our games. It's like, and I'm hoping that continues. You know?
I imagine so, since at least we don't know sales numbers like you said, but Returnal was obviously very well received, so I imagine they're just gonna let Housemarque kind of do what they want.
Yeah. So I mean,
at least at first,
that's what it seems like. Returnal is basically just as unique and interesting as their like arcade games, just with a lot more budget, and they can do a lot of different things. And that's what I would just want them to be able to do.
Yeah, and as far as Housemarque being acquired, because to the casual consumer, because like you said, people probably thought they did. Okay, what's the difference is this gonna make? Not much as far as what games they're releasing, but you mentioned budget, probably get more of that for sure. And they are mentioned already in the blog post that they're looking at expanding the studio.
Nice.
Which is, nothing but good.
Yeah.
More jobs and all that.
More security for them to really be able to do what they want. I mean, because it sounded like they were kind of on the ropes there when they had that dramatic, like, arcade is dead post and all that stuff. I mean, it seems like they weren't necessarily in a great place, and they probably had a lot riding on Returnal. So now they can probably be like, okay, we did it.
Yeah, we're expanding. We can make bigger budget games.
And we have a security blanket of things, and so they don't have to, like, sell out, for lack of a better word, as much. I mean, I guess unless Tony tells them to.
And, deadlines are, it's not much of a, you don't have to worry like, okay, we need to get this game out, or we are a company or screwed. It's like, okay, we can kind of more take our time.
And now they can hopefully decide, do we want to do a Returnal 2, or do we want to just go in a whole another weird direction with a new IP, Hopefully they won't be beholden to anything. Hopefully.
Well, when PlayStation/Sony announced the acquisition of Housemarque, PlayStation Japan kind of did a little oopsie. Instead of posting they had the text, they had the Housemarque announcement, but the picture was Bluepoint and actually had a Demon Souls picture added onto their thing. Well, they just had a bunch of their big IP on a graphic.
Click the wrong dang JPEG. Damn it.
Yeah. It has not been officially confirmed, and apparently Bluepoint said on Twitter that they are their own thing, but this thing doesn't get made by accident.
So that existed on their computer. I mean, come on,
Yeah, so that
maybe the ink hasn't completely dried there, but I mean, expect that to.
Yeah, so that's happening, and like Housemarque, that's just one where it's like some people are probably like, oh, they weren't already owned by then, because it's pretty much only been, at least for the last little while, Sony related things. Yeah, and
this falls right in line with Insomniac, Housemarque, and Bluepoint are all like, okay, I mean, they've been de facto Sony studios from the outside.
Like it's kind of acquisition that doesn't get people necessarily excited or much buzz really, because like, okay, this just makes sense, and not much really changes.
But
to
it
us
probably internally it changes a lot.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like who's making decisions and all that. But yeah, definitely from the outside for us, it like seems pretty like okay, business as usual. But Bluepoint is fascinating just from so many ways, because like I wouldn't be surprised like either way if Bluepoint just keeps doing what they're doing, because they make incredible remasters or remake things or whatever, like better than anyone in the business. Like they do like the highest budget ones of these, and they're very, very, very good at that. And I also would be equally not as surprised if they actually do go try to make their own thing at some point. I mean, I could really see it going either way. I do think there is a value to them just doing what they're doing, keep doing these like remake things, because there's other games that you can make like crazy big transformative remakes,
Sly Cooper.
Yeah. But it's interesting because they do the biggest like budget things of like kind of straight remakes, if that makes sense. Like Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls are both like mechanically very like intact from the original game, and
more one-to-one with some quality of life changes, and
and it's more the actual scenery and like the visuals of the game that is like crazy modernized. They don't necessarily do like a Final Fantasy VII remake or making a completely new game from scratch. But even in that style, I think there's other and like that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing for a lot of these. I think people didn't want them to touch Demon Souls or Shadow of the Colossus very much, and I do think there's other games like the rumored like people wanted them to be doing Metal Gear. I think something like that could it's
I am very curious if they would, because if Bluepoint is owned by Sony, that 100%.
I still think it could be possible.
I think it's possible, but I'm curious.
I mean, Demon Souls wasn't, but I think it's possible. But even with the,
I guess from Konami's standpoint, no one else. They're not doing anything with Metal Gear. That's just money.
we could say the same thing for the last freaking like 8 years, but
Castlevania, Silent Hill,
and nothing's happening with any of them, and that's been true for the last 8 years.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't put much of your hopes and dreams in any Konami property for anything happening.
Luckily, I don't.
If it happens, great. But, stake your happiness on it.
Well, Darby, it doesn't stop there.
Ooh.
Sony's just like gobbling up the industry one by one. Tomorrow they're gonna announce their own Nintendo. It's gonna be crazy. No, but they announced they also acquired Nixxes. I think that's how you pronounce it. A Dutch studio that specializes in importing games to PC. If you haven't heard of them, you're not alone.
I haven't. But the porting games to PC is interesting.
Yeah, they are known for, I think, porting like the Square Enix Western game games to PC is what they mainly do. So I think Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and all that kind of stuff. Just cause maybe. So yeah, mainly done it from a technology standpoint. Yeah, and some people are ears perked up with this, obviously from the PC port thing. But you could make the argument, hey, maybe they're doing it for something else. Well, apparently, recently on the box covers for both Ghost of Tsushima and Bloodborne, the only on PlayStation moniker thing on there have disappeared.
For what? For
Ghost of Tsushima and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Which means they are probably coming to PC.
Oh, people will be so stoked for that Bloodborne PC. Jeez. Yeah, I think it's been it's been obvious for a long time that this is where we're heading with Sony, which thank fucking God. But
yeah,
it's just I think eventually pretty much everything will be on PC. I just think it's going to be at different intervals, like
depending on the thing.
Yeah, but if Ghost of Tsushima is happening at all soon, then that window is obviously getting shorter.
Yeah,
and I still think it's going to depend on the game, but it's not necessarily like it has to be a year or two later. It's like it seems like at least some games are getting it fast.
Maybe it will just be some time. I think there will be kind of a window like at least this long afterwards. But by some point, when Nixon gets done with it,
yeah,
that's when it might pop up. I think assuming based on what this company does, if Sony's planning on doing what we think they are. I think that's a good buy. That's smart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating because Sony is again I feel like Sony's definitely probably feeling some pressure from Xbox putting everything on PC and just getting more people like me to buy their games through PC and everything. That Sony's putting one foot towards there because they probably feel like they have to, but it's not all the way.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure this shows that hey, they're happy with what Horizon and I guess Death Stranding are doing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I see those two games and also a bunch of Microsoft's first party stuff at the top of the charts a lot. It's not PlayStation, but it kind of goes with the thing I saw. And it makes sense for the timing. Sea of Thieves is at the top of the Steam's list.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So
it's exciting. I wish that just for us buying games, I wish that we had a more clear idea of how long after any of these games come. I wish that it was more clear. But, I think they intentionally want it to not be clear, so it's all right, fuck, I'll buy it on the new console.
Yeah,
and they don't want to put it on PC until people stop buying it on the console, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Darby. It's time to talk about negative Sony press. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this comes from Jason Schreier from Bloomberg. Hi everyone, it's Jason. The video game industry has a new villain of the week, Sony Corp's PlayStation platform. Several independent video game developers spoke out against the frustrating treatment they receive from Sony, essentially claiming that the Japanese tech giant fails to properly support smaller game developers. These developers say their contracts with Sony can sometimes take weeks or months to respond to queries, if they're lucky enough to have contacts at all. And while massive blockbusters receive prominent display on digital PlayStation Store, indie games are difficult for players to discover. Marketing is more important than ever for game developers, with an increasingly large number of titles being released every year vying for players' attention. For developers who have possibly poured their life savings into creating a game, a single store promotion can make the difference between success and failure. That's why developers are risking torching their relationship with Sony to publicly complain. The relationship between smaller studios and Sony is in stark contrast to rivals Microsoft and Nintendo, both of which have shown more of a willingness willingness to support and work with indies, developers say. Sony didn't respond to a request for comment. And I got a couple more things, but Darby, have you been following this saga at all?
A little bit. I mean, mostly just everything you said there. Like,
yeah, it's just kind of these rumblings have been going on for a little bit, but let me pull up the name on. Let's see the article. There was an indie dev that was just kind of like, screw it. I don't know how to pronounce it, like Ian Gardner. Posted on there telling about the frustration for a platform X, which, you know, pretty much is Sony. If you read this thing, it's obvious.
yeah.
Just all the problems with that, and there were many indie game developers that pretty much echoes like, yeah, this is right. And some other things related to this, like Sony has encouraged developers to pay $25,000 for front page promotion on the store. And you know, talking about the other platforms, are more flexible about allowing games to go on sale. So apparently, you know, some people ask the developer, like, I see your game on sale like on Switch and stuff all the time. Why is it on PlayStation? It's like, because it is a giant pain in the butt, and Sony is like very strict on it and makes it very thing. That's like, I'm sure, you know, if you follow like Warrior 64 and stuff like that, the same like big AAA games are on sale all the time. Tales games are like always on sale. That's just an example. But some of these indie games are hardly ever on sale. It's apparently a pain in the butt. Like, they'd like to put their game on sale.
That's ridiculous.
But they can't.
Why would you, like, yeah, it's like, you should be able to set your price. Well, I don't even understand why Sony would care about that. Like, if that's
yeah.
And to like let them, I mean, the fact that it seems like, especially on Sony, just everything is way more easier to do if you're a big AAA publisher, because everything costs a bunch of money, and it's like more. And this is kind of just another larger thing of just like kind of what we preach a lot here, that like, even when they are doing something in your favor now, these like huge corporations are never really your like friend. They're never really on your side, because in the PS3 days and like some of the early PS4 days,
especially early PS4 days,
Sony was like probably a lot of this was still going on, but they were promoting indies a lot. They were doing these indie showcases, like kind of riding off the back of there or whatever, and giving them a platform, especially like in the Vita days and stuff like that.
Well,
a lot.
Yeah, well, the people I saw on like Rosetta and stuff and Twitter were posting pictures from early PS4 conferences, like some of the ones you're mentioning, where they just had these screens, like they were going crazy with indies, like screens with half like a dozen indies logos on the thing, saying we love indies, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, I mean, I know some people's reaction is, well, what about Kena and Little Devil Inside? It's like, well, the fact that people are just pinpointing the same couple games that they're showing.
That's the problem.
Those are the favorites that Sony are
right. And I mean, this goes so much more than just like, you can't just promote a few games and be like, look, see, we did it. It's like, no, this is about like, I mean, indie games inherently, there's hundreds of them. And it's like, this is something that's an ever-going thing. It's a lot more than just highlighting a few. It's like making it possible for people to come up and be noticed and everything outside of your thing.
I didn't really think about it too much, but you know, to reading this as far as the storefront, like on the PS5, when I ever go on the store, usually to get like a PS Plus game or something, when you look at the coming soon or the games, it's always the big AAA games, or as it mentions, the kind of bigger indie ones that Sony specifically is pushing. Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, some people are doing to like, as the defend Sony is, you know, other than the whole Kena thing, is Shuhei Yoshida's role with him kind of being like an Indian ambassador. I can't remember.
It's just like he's almost a non-factor in their
marketing. That's the thing. I want to believe, you know, I follow him on Twitter and everything. Shu is all for it. Like he actually believed in that, but the rest of the company does not. And some people have kind of talked, like people who might have worked for Sony or indies who have talked, and it sounds like the people that work in like the indie section, for lack of a better way to say it, at Sony really do care, but they're a small team and pretty understaffed.
Yeah, they can only do so much if they're not given the resources. And I think like Greg has talked about this a lot. Like a few years ago, it's like, Shu was in a lot of the press conferences up there, like front and center. I haven't seen Shuhei Yoshida in the thing in like years. Like,
I feel like we see Shu more often in non-Sony things.
Yeah, like just for a little appearance.
I think I saw him like in Devolver.
I mean, it's the same thing for a lot of Sony things. I mean, it's just a changing philosophy of Sony went from like, we're gonna have public faces that are like pushing these things, to we are a shadowy company that you never see, but you just like whatever. And I mean, I just think this is I mean, it's a testament again. Like I even like I don't want to be completely pessimistic and everything, but like I always want to pump the brakes somewhat on but Xbox is doing everything right. They're doing all this stuff great or whatever. They're like the good guys, Robin Hood of the video game industry. It's like they're doing a lot of great things now. As soon as it's financially feasible for them to make more money not doing that, they're gonna stop doing that. I mean, that's what these companies do. You've seen all three of these companies have like a different face every year. I mean, this happens all the time because they are not a person. They are a giant corporation with different people tugging them in different ways. So you are never safe on anything here. You know, I mean, I feel like I'm so pessimistic about it, but like that, you have to know that. You have to realize that you are kind of on your own. Like this, you cannot rely on these corporations.
Are you telling me with my subscription to Xbox Game Pass, Phil Spencer won't come here and clip me pizza rolls?
Well, he will do that. Okay. Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, Microsoft doing anything right now. We should applaud them, but also keep like
realistic. Be realistic.
Like, yeah, if things change in generation, there's definitely going to be that fear of like, okay, where are they going to go back on? How they're going to change and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I feel like with the way Microsoft is now, they can't go completely back as much as they may want at the time. I feel like they're locked into at least some, but there is that fear like with the indie stuff, they might not. Game Pass may not promote as many indies once their first party games start going crazy.
And I mean, it's kind of once they have enough subscribers, all bets are off for how this thing changes to be. I mean, it's like, well, you're already here. I mean, that's basically what Sony is like, well, you're here. You're going to pay. You're going to do whatever we want. It's like, where else are you going to, what else are you going to do? Like, you can go to Xbox. They don't have, like, they're not equivalent companies. They're not doing the same thing. So it's like, like, yeah, you can get some success over there, but you need to be on PlayStation. So, like, you're going to pay. And I mean, that's how it gets. I mean, any of these companies can get that way when they get high enough. I mean, we saw Xbox kind of take the lead, at least in America, and like for online games and everything, and saw them get hubris and crash and burn. I mean, we're kind of witnessing Sony do this. It's just, you can never trust them, and the problem is indies can't afford a backup plan. It's like they need this, and especially if they have gone in on one of these companies, like they don't really have a safety net for if that company turns on them all of a sudden.
Well, I think part of the reason some of the companies are emboldened to do this is some of them have kind of put out quote unquote unofficial pie charts showing the percentage of sales for different platforms, and PlayStation for some of them were like 3% or less of their sales. So some are kind of like, we burn this bridge right now. It's not going to it's not really going to affect us a crazy amount.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have seen, I mean, I can say from experience, I mean, at this point, if I'm buying an indie game, I'm like an indie game, at least of a certain like style, most of them, I'm going to get them on Switch or PC.
Yeah.
It's like PlayStation's like not really somewhere I'm thinking about playing a lot.
Well, and as far as like indies now, it's kind of weird. It's one of those things I didn't really think about until this stuff kind of came up. Obviously, Switch, we've been talking about indies for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But now even Xbox, I'm starting to think more because of Game Pass. Like, all these great looking indie games
a lot of them are
coming to Game Pass day one. So it's, I'm either playing on PC for Game Pass or on my Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, part of it is just I don't play a whole lot of new games, period. But I was thinking the other day, it was like 13 Sentinels was like the last time I really played my PS4 for anything significant, other than like playing Overwatch a few times with everyone. It's like,
and now you don't even need to do that anymore.
No.
Thanks, crossplay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just these companies. I mean, like, again, we can go on a whole podcast rant for every one of these companies and things they do right, and we can also go on the podcast for the things they do like right and wrong. It's like it's everyone sucks, but has some good qualities, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hopefully, wouldn't suck. A Dead Space remake, baby.
Oh, baby! This comes from Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat. Electronic Arts has Star Wars Battlefront 2 co-developer Motive working on a new Dead Space game. Eurogamer and Gamatsu first reported the existence of the game, and GamesBeat can confirm parts of what each outlet has heard. While a new Dead Space game Dead Space is coming, Motive is rebooting the franchise with a full-fledged remake. For his Dead Space game, Motive is taking notes from Capcom's recent Resident Evil remakes. Like Resident Evil 2 Remake, expect the next Dead Space to use original game as a strong foundation, but it should also have modern visuals, and it will likely bring in new gameplay mechanics inspired by other entries in the franchise. Speaking of Capcom, it is likely a major reason a new Dead Space is happening. While EA has let its horror franchise wither, the Resident Evil series is larger than ever, and Capcom has provided an easy blueprint for EA to follow. I think this makes a lot of sense.
I think it definitely does. I think there's elements of it that it's like I do think the Resident Evil remakes are remakes of much older games than Dead Space, and I think much different. Like there was way more of a change in how the game plays than I would expect there to be from a Dead Space. Mm-hmm. So like I inherently think it's like slightly just in the abstract, slightly less exciting than a Resident Evil thing. But I think it's still the smart step to bring Dead Space, like to set up for future Dead Spaces.
Yes, well, that's just what Jeff was saying. It's like, because some people are like, "Oh, I'd rather have a new game." Well, apparently, they're just doing both.
I would also say I would also rather have a new game, but if both are happening, then great. Yes.
And as for me, I'm kind of getting more into the horror stuff like Resident Evil and the like. So. And I, small thing, like playing as Isaac Clarke and PlayStation All-Stars.
You would like Dead Space.
I know. So, good, honestly, the idea of a remake being more modernized, I think, is actually very exciting to me.
Yes, yeah. I'm basically seeing this is taking the place of like a port that we don't have. Like this is basically like the super amped up version of a Dead Space port, which I think, especially if this comes first, which I would hope it would, like this.
Well, I think the rumor is, I don't think Jeff said it, or some of the rumblings is it will be announced at EA Play this month.
Okay, dope.
Hopefully that's the case, I imagine, especially if the remake is happening. I imagine that might be a pretty quick turnaround.
So is this saying that like the new game has been in development, or is like just starting?
Let's see. I can't remember what all the rumors exactly were, but yeah, Jeff's saying, wow, new Dead Space is coming. Motive is rebooting the franchise with a full-fledged remake. So yeah, remake's happening first, and then to kind of warm people up for a new game.
And Motive had a Star Wars game that was canceled, right?
I think so.
So maybe they've been working on that since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it is a remake, so kind of, depending how big it is, it's not an easy thing to do, but it takes less time than a full-fledged game.
Yeah. I would my knee-jerk reaction is like, I'm definitely going to play this either way. I'm definitely excited about it. My knee-jerk reaction was like, yeah, it's like less exciting because like the first it's not going to be that much different than the first Dead Space because the first Dead Space is not that old. That's probably me speaking from not having played Dead Space in a long time. I'm probably like thinking about that game mechanically holding up better than it does. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if I actually sat down and played it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this does feel old.
There are probably some people, and I'm going to say probably rightfully so, like yelling at us like, you guys are excited, like kind of more okay with this when you guys were saying stuff about the Last of Us remake. It's like,
well, I mean, like this is a decent bit older than that. But
I can't remember the exact thing. Was it 2009?
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought this was like 2009. I mean, I suppose that's not.
Grand scheme of things, not that much. I mean,
yeah.
Same generation.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I mean, and I will say, like, I'm not like there's a reason why I really like Dead Space and I really, really want Dead Space to return. The remake is not really the thing that has me like, I'm like, the new game I'm way more interested in. Like, I will definitely play this and it'll be awesome. I would love to revisit Dead Space.
Something I just remembered is since we got Game Pass on PC, we could try the whatever thing come out. Pretty cheap, or play the first little bit for nothing, no extra cost, and then go in for the full thing.
True.
And I could easily just go ahead and play the Dead Space games right now because those are just on the EA thing. But I'll at least wait to see how this remake looks if it's being announced this month.
Yeah. That'd be awesome if it was like coming this fall or something. But I guess we don't know how long this has been.
I think that'd be a big win for EA.
Yeah, certainly. Absolutely. I'm just glad it's coming back. It is interesting that we have like the Callisto Protocol going on, and then apparently also Dead Space is actually coming back.
Yeah.
Finally, but hopefully they're both good.
Yep. All right, Darby, we're staying with the horror. And how much you like you whore. Your whore. That's coming from Joe Scrabbles from IGN. Konami and Blooper team have announced a strategic cooperation agreement Now we'll see the two companies developing games together, adding weight to rumors that the Polish studio is working on a new Silent Hill game.
Is there any more business speak than strategic cooperation agreement?
No. As detailed on Blooper's investor relations website, the partnership will include jointly developing selected contents and exchanging know-how. Konami's Hideki Hayakawa said that the partnership would combine Blooper teams and our respective characters and stream to create high-quality contents. That's the most businessy thing I think I've ever read on this podcast. Just the way they're phrasing things. I don't like it. I feel dirty.
Partnership.
Yeah.
Please cease this.
Konami's own corporate statement implies that any collaboration between the two companies is not yet finalized. Quote, we will announce information about contents from the business alliance once detailed and decided. No specific projects have been detailed. The speculation and rumor have pointed to a new Silent Hill game for some time. The quote's in somewhere there, but they didn't put in there. So that last bit was definitely not a quote from Konami.
Konami is such a gross company. they're so gross. Get all these IPs into other people's hands. Like maybe this is doing.
I like legitimately. I don't want people buying a bunch of different things, but if like Nintendo / Sony or something want to buy up like Metal Gear and Castlevania, sure. Like yeah, Sony get Metal Gear, Nintendo gets Castlevania. I'd be okay with that.
Even if you barely do anything with it, it can't be worse than what you have now. I think this makes sense. This definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it's happening because there's been so many freaking Silent Hill rumors. Who freaking knows? But I mean, it sounds like this is the first time it's been like, okay, they're partnering with Konami. It's like, well, God, I hope it's actually something worthwhile and not like some stupid mobile some shit.
The thing, apparently there are 3 projects named, so that Blooper team has just announced earlier today or something. I just glanced at them and nothing really to go off of, really. But I've seen some people fear, and I can understand this as far as, and this happened when the rumors started for Blooper team, people being kind of like bummed if Blooper team is the one making it, because since their games have been a little more middling than people want, like than Kojima stuff.
Yeah.
But also middling might be better than a lot of Silent Hill games the last however many years.
Yeah, at least hopefully they've learned something. They're definitely making games that have elements of what I think a new Silent Hill would have. I mean, it's obvious this is the type of game they want to make and that they've been trying to make. So, I give them the benefit of the doubt.
And it kind of sounds like the medium. I haven't played it, but it sounds like it had the idea, like the ambition for it, but not necessarily the team and budget to
you could see with Blair Witch and Medium, I could see a reality where those were stepping stones to an actually good version of like an IP and a story that everyone likes. You know, that like I could see it being the hit, but also I don't have a lot of skin in the game. Like if it's bad, whatever. You know, it's not, like I like Silent Hill, but I'm not like it's not as big of a deal to me as other people.
Jacob.
So, it's not going to tear me up if I'm playing through a bad Silent Hill, or I'll probably only get it if I hear it's really, really good. But yeah, I think that definitely could be real though.
Yep.
That gets the nerds at large. Could be.
Yeah.
It might be real.
The relationship's happening. So it's like, okay, well, you guys actually let them work on Silent Hill. Or the Blooper team want to work on Silent Hill. Who knows?
I would imagine they would want to.
Some people just want to work on their own stuff.
Yeah, and I respect some small indie studio, studio that hasn't had much success, and you're offered Silent Hill for your horror studio. Be like, you should probably.
I'm just putting
it
out there. Let people do what they want.
I mean, yes.
Like Spike Chunsoft making a sequel to AI the Somnium Files.
Spike Chun-Li.
Yeah, Spike Chun-Li indeed. So one of my favorite games of 2019, AI the Somnium Files, is getting a surprise sequel titled AI the Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative. It is launching in spring 2022 for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch.
They gotta find
PC.
the band Nirvana.
Yes.
And put their consciousness into AI.
And this is a little quote thing they get to kind of tell you what's going on. This time around, you play a special agent Mizuki who, along with her AI partner Aiba, must solve a series of strange murders. 6 years ago, the right half of the body was discovered. This mystery went unsolved until now, when the left half of the body shows up with no signs of decay.
Gross.
What is happening? That's up to you to uncover.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this was a surprise to me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to get a sequel, especially not so soon, and especially right after E3, I wasn't expecting game announcements.
Yeah,
New
was
game
this
or something like that.
2019?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. So decently quick under about 3 years it will be.
Yeah.
Once this game comes out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I don't think this thing like blew up sales wise, right? So it's like,
No, people didn't think it did well enough for a sequel, so people are just kind of generally surprised that this is happening, but are excited. And big changes that are immediately apparent is the new main character. She's new in the fact that she is now the main character, but she is actually a character.
drink real quick. Oh.
Okay. She is a character in the original game. She is kind of like the roommate of the main character of the first game, but she's like, what was it, 13 or 12 or something in that game. But now she has grown up, and she now has his magic AI eyeball. Yes. Also, I showed you the trailer before this. She had a little sci-fi pipe thing. She has like a normal pipe in the regular game. For some reason that they don't really explain, she has like super strength. Because anime. She just does. It's like, okay, might get a little more action scenes in this.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it looked like, if I didn't know what the game was, I was expecting her to start like beating.
It's like a murder mystery visual novel style game. It is the creator of Virtue's Last Reward and the 999 and those games.
So there was no like action elements of the first one, right? I mean,
not really. There was some like quick time event type things, which is something related to. I hope it's changed a little bit, or at least done better. I don't know if you caught it, Darby, but the AI Iba mentioned you're different than that perverted buffoon.
Yeah, I immediately. To be honest, that's like the only thing I remember from you describing the game before was the stupid like you pervert thing.
Yeah. So he's not gonna be this. Hopefully that stuff's toned down, or he's not the main character.
In fact, they mention it in the trailer.
Yeah,
they mention that perverted buffoon in the trailer. It makes me think there's still gonna be some cringy writing for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but it sounds like also good writing.
Yes,
it's kind of anime. You take the good with the bad.
Yep, it was a mind fuck, and Uchikoshi, which is the director on there, he left Spike Chunsoft like after the game was, or before the game was technically released, but after his like writing and stuff was done. So people were wondering, okay, is he gonna be back for this one? He confirmed it.
Very nice.
Let's see. He mentioned on Twitter some stuff about it. He wrote all the scenarios for it and all that. And he mentioned as far as playing this one before the first one. Never played the first, you will still enjoy the second perfectly. You don't need any knowledge of the first, and there are almost no spoilers for AI 1 and AI 2. So you may play the first after the second. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Your first story game, that's surprising.
Yeah. And he did put a note, why are there no spoilers for AI 1 and AI 2? Because we have set a little gimmick in the game. I'm sorry, I can't say anymore. Like, what does that mean?
Amnesia.
What does it mean? Might be. Who knows?
Who knows?
So yeah,
anime. Hype and surprising.
Yes. And I say decently soon. It's about a year off, so.
Yeah, but
yeah. Still, I'll take what I can get.
Get something to be excited about.
Yep, and Mizuki was awesome. So happy that she's a playable character. Time for other news.
Other news. Look, the other news that's coming for us. Run, quick.
First, other news. Bidoof Day.
Bidoof.
Bidoof the Pokemon got his own day.
Yeah, everyone. Happy Bidoof Day.
Go look at Pokemon Company's Bidoof Day announcement video.
It's pretty good.
That is all.
It's pretty good.
EA said they are looking to featuring players' names and likeness in the new NCAA football game after the Supreme Court ruling. For people who don't know what this is, because they don't follow sports ball, the Supreme Court has ruled that now college athletes can use their likenesses and names and stuff to make money. Good.
Well, these people make money.
Yeah. So that's why in earlier games no one had a name in those games.
Just number 12.
Yep. So now it opens up the option to do it. That doesn't mean we'll do it because that's lots of people to do. But that's the
I'll
option.
be very fascinated to see this new NCAA game and just like how it shakes out, like what's different, what.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit away, so I'm kind of glad this decision is kind of made now, so they can kind of actually think about and decide how they want to implement this.
That's
like
not
what they want to do.
coincidence at all, for sure.
Yeah, so that's nice. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut announced will include a new island to play on. I think it takes place after the main game. Spoilers. I guess Jin survives. I knew that.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about this is the way the pricing of all this stuff works. I don't know if you heard about this.
No, I have not.
Okay, so there's the Director's Cut. It's for PS4 and PS5, so not doing an integrate thing, which is nice. I might get the pricing a little wrong, so I apologize if it is, but the general point will stand. The DLC, the way to upgrade to the Director's Cut is $20 price point.
Okay.
For PS4, for the PS4 version to Director's Cut.
Gotcha.
To get from the PS4 version of Director's Cut or the PS4 to PS5, you got to pay $10. You got to pay $10 to upgrade to the PS5 version.
Okay, wait. So is that $10 to get the Director's Cut?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can't remember if you needed to have the Director's Cut version to do that, or if you can just do Ghost of Tsushima in general and upgrade it. But to maybe this will make it a little less confusing.
Okay.
You can pay $30 to go from the base PS4 version to the Director's Cut PS5.
So it sounds like that is the $10 is only just to get the PS5 version,
yes,
and then another $20 to get
the upgraded
Director's Cut. That's very weird. So you don't just, it's not like some of these other games where you just have the PS5 version. Like if you have the PS4 version, you got to pay to upgrade. You buy a PS5, you're just playing the PS4 version on the PS5.
Yes, you need to pay to get the PS5. Things like haptics and all that kind of nonsense.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That should just be free. If you want to charge for the extra content of the Director's Cut, sure.
Yeah.
But
the big thing that's is frustrating about all this stuff, and I'm saying this as someone who's not going to get this game either way, we're not playing on it anyway, is Sony has been like, the stuff you got to do to get all this stuff is different, because like with PlayStation Plus games, there are some of them that you can upgrade to the PS5 version, and then there's stuff like Final Fantasy VII where you couldn't if you had the PS Plus version.
Right. There's no rhyme or reason. If it's fucking confusing to us who's looking at this shit every week, can you imagine the soccer mom who's like, now what version of it was?
Yeah.
Like, why does that have to be this complicated? It really should just be fucking backwards compatible. It's like, if you have a PS4 version, you also have a PS5 version.
Yep.
It's that fucking simple. Like,
yep. I haven't seen anyone like use it to defend it, but I guess the Sony argument would be, well, we added haptics and all that kind of, and some other stuff. Like, well, Sackboy does that too. Go PS4 version, get the PS5 version with haptics. It's no different.
Right. No, there is none. And I mean, like, how is this any different than any other console jump that had backwards compatibility? You're offering new things, but it's still just like, just let people have the game.
It was just a $20 for a Director's Cut. I would understand that because it is a brand new thing. Like, it's pretty much an expansion. I would understand that. But the upgrade to the PS5.
I mean, I can tell you what's happening probably every freaking day is there's a lot of people who, again, don't pay attention to these things, who probably, they have the game PS4, they buy a PS5, and they just start playing on PS5, and they think they're playing the PS5 version, and they're like, this doesn't look as good as I think it was, and they probably go on playing it and be like, okay, I guess this is how it looks. They probably have no clue that they're playing the PS4 version instead of the PS5 version.
I think it's definitely...
And I don't blame them because it's confusing as fuck.
Yeah, I think there's a time or two that I ended up loading up the wrong version.
Yeah, even kind of funny, all of them said that like they've done it with almost every big new game. They accidentally had downloaded the PS4 version, all of it, realized that, and they had to delete it and download all the PS5 version. And again, these are like industry people. Like, it's so stupidly, like, the rules change constantly, and it's dumb. I'm glad we have it at all, like any sort of backwards compatibility, but it's definitely handled in a very convoluted way, which is dumb.
Yep.
See, the Director's Cut is just a hot thing right now.
Yeah. Well, it was funny, like with Death Stranding, because who was holding Kojima back from
Director's Cut is so funny for that. It's like Kojima is released from the shackles of Kojima.
Yeah. And director's cut for a game like Ghost of Tsushima was weird because nothing against the director of this game, but no one knows who he is.
Yeah. Kojima basically wants to be a filmmaker, so that's why he's...
It's kind of a film thing that people were just kind of doing, which kind of goes what, people say about Sony first-party games.
Yeah.
They're playable movies. Final news thing. NetherRealm is done working on Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. Will solely focus on their next game. There were rumors of another DLC pack, but those are obviously false now. I have no idea who was in it. I just saw people mention, oh, well, I guess that rumor for the next pack is fake.
Yeah, NetherRealm came out and straight up said it. But yep, they got a lot of characters for it.
I think Ermac was one of the rumor ones. Apparently he has a new design and one of the story things or something. They look pretty dope, so people were kind of bummed about that.
What's the game, Boone?
Just tell me.
Just tell me what the game is, Boone.
My potential prediction, it's hard to tell because, game development just takes longer and they did do more Mortal Kombat 11. I can see us, because, up to the point they did the 2-year cycle.
Yeah, that's
like 10
done.
years.
That's done.
Yeah. No, obviously, because we would have gotten it by now.
Yeah.
But I could see it just going like an extra year. So I'm saying is, I could see us getting an announcement for the next game by like Game Awards or at Game Awards.
I'm expecting this game. I can see this game 2024 or 2023. I meant
Okay.
Not I meant to say 2023.
That's a giant.
I meant to say 2023 because it sounds like they are nowhere near like in the schedule they normally are. It sounds like the thing would have been made.
That could happen, but I can see it being they're announcing a Game Awards coming out in around the time they normally release games in around like April or May in 2022 because they did that with Mortal Kombat 11.
It could be,
and that's an extra year development extra year between games than they had for the 10 years prior.
Yeah,
I think that's feasible.
It's feasible for sure. I also wouldn't be surprised if it's 2023.
We will find out, and if they're making a Marvel game. Speaking of Marvel games, there's one or two probably in this giant list. Actually, I know there's one.
Probably somewhere.
Well, I know one of them. We will get to.
All right, what are we doing here, though, Jeff?
We got a long list of games that are coming out for the rest of this year. We're going to go through it one by one and spend 5 minutes on each one. It's going to be... No. We'll go through it. We'll talk about as little or as much as we feel like doing as we go through it. And we decided to pick our top 3 games to give little things to. I call them the medals of hype.
Okay.
We got the Olympics coming up, so let's do that. It's got the gold medal of hype, the silver medal of hype, the bronze medal of hype.
You think Sonic's going to show up at the real Olympics, the real ass Olympics? You think we're going to see? Will Sonic reveal himself?
Yes. I'd be disappointed if he didn't.
God, I would love if like someone just put on a Sonic mask and ran the track.
The opening ceremony, man. Sonic needs to be there.
Go, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's going to be in Japan. That opening ceremony is going to be hype. It's going to be lit. I kind of forgot about that. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Mario's going to be... Lock it in. Mario and Goku are going to make an appearance. They're going to kiss.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
Because, Japan, they really love their...
Lock it in, I said.
Okay. All right, are you ready to get through this?
Let's go.
Got your games in mind?
Baby. Yes.
Coming out July 9th, Monster Hunter Stories 2 Rings of Ruin on Switch and PC.
A game that Darby Hallman is probably going to buy. What?
Coming out in 5 days as of the recording of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
It's Friday. Looks jolly as hell. I've played enough of the Switch version to know that it seems like it's not going to be at the top of people's Game of the Year list, but it looks jolly.
Yep. It'll be fun. I expect it to sell pretty well.
I do too.
Yep. Especially get that little Switch
I
bump.
think it'll probably outsell the first one in like a week, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
Switch and Monster Hunter just huge. Yep. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, July 16th.
Do they have you by the throat? You picking it up?
Nope.
Me neither.
At least not anytime soon.
Me neither. Why aren't you picking up? I'm interested because you buy everything.
There are a lot of games, though. I had no time for this old shit.
Did you ever play Skyward Sword?
Nope.
Interesting. That's even more interesting, though.
Yep.
So you believe all these hating ass haters that it's a bad game?
No, I think I would really like it a lot, but there's a lot going on. And maybe I can get on sale later.
I played enough of it back then to know that, especially with in modern times, I think that game would be a struggle to play.
They just released a trailer where it just kind of shows the quality of life improvements, and they pretty much like, hey, you don't have to do that all the tutorial stuff. Fee won't talk to you every 5 seconds whenever you pick up anything.
It's like, this kind of says that the game's bad. You're just having to like remove a bunch of things because the game's bad and annoying to play and not fun. Sorry, I don't like that game very much. So I will also not be using it.
But will you be getting Chris Tales coming out July 20th on everything?
I'm planning on it.
Let's
It
go.
looks very cool. Everyone should go check out Chris Taylor's trailers.
Yep, and I believe there's still a demo up on Steam, maybe.
Still releasing on. Wait, what?
I say Steam. I think like demos out on multiple platforms, so people want to try it out.
Yes. I think demos are still out.
Yeah, so get on that. It looks good. I expect it to review well, hopefully. And hopefully it does well for the team. I think it's been getting a lot of press, and I feel like that's one I still see people kind of mention when it comes to some of these indie games, talking about like they're excited for still.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these usually drop off more. I mean, it's definitely not like fever pitch zeitgeist, but I think it's enough for this to probably do well considering what it was, especially if it's really good. You know,
and on Game Pass.
Good. I thought it wasn't. I thought we learned that it wasn't.
It may not be on Game Pass PC, but it might be on Game Pass console.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it's on console.
I remember us learning something that we like thought it was on something and it wasn't. But
Yeah. So
either way,
we'll be playing it.
Should be playing it.
Death's Door on the Xboxes and PC July 20th as well.
Is this that like top-down Souls-like game or something?
With the bird?
This is Crow Souls.
Yeah, this is Crow Souls.
Okay, all right, yes.
Crow Souls. I
Too much for me.
Yeah. I can see this being like one of those sleeper indie hits of the year.
Absolutely. No, it's gonna be good. I'm sure. Let me see.
Yeah. Last stop on most things, maybe except for like Stadia and stuff, on July 22nd. One of the million road trip games. I'm not 100% sure which one it is, honestly. Is it the one with like a million different? Okay. I think it's the one where you have like a million different like scenarios. Oh no, this is
Yeah, I think Easy Alex did the exact same thing you just did, where they thought it was that game and it's something else. I think it is actually a bunch of different scenarios, but yeah, I think I've seen this. This was made by the people who made Virginia, which is a game people like a lot. And the premise of this game seems cool, but like the art style and the way it runs looks very bad. Like very bad. So I don't know.
From Annapurna.
Yeah, I think it is kind of like you're going through a bunch of scenarios, but
yeah,
it looks kind of rough, visually speaking.
Yeah. All right, here. Neo, The World Ends With You on PS4 and Switch, July 27th.
Any chance of you getting this one?
I mean, not anytime soon, because I haven't played the first one. So, I want to play that one first. Get the feel for it, you know?
Yes.
But I'm very curious how it's received, because a big part of why people liked the first one was stuff that was like the way it played on the DS, to the point where some people didn't care for how it played when it got ported to the Switch, because it felt like I lost something without the two screens.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious how people feel about this one.
And it's just a completely different style, right? It's way more 3D running around action thing.
So I am very curious how this one does.
It's another one that visually doesn't look great.
It's budget.
Yeah. Don't honestly have high expectations for the reception of this game, to be honest, but hopefully it'll surprise.
Yeah. Also on July 27th, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles and Adventures. I think this is just on one thing. Like, this is a collection, but they're done separately or something. I don't know. PlayStation 4, Switch, PC.
So is this a different set of Ace Attorney games that were released on the Switch?
Yes, these are this one, remember, has Herlock Sholmes.
Okay, so I mean, these came after those games or something?
Yes. Well, chronologically, release-wise, yes. Chronologically, no. This is like the Ace Attorney's ancestor.
Oh, okay.
This is the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Seems like there's a lot of these games.
Yes. And people want more. obviously game of the year, Nier Reincarnation, coming out on iOS and Android in July 28th.
What is this game?
I don't know. I read some of it. There is going to be like orbs and summons and that kind of shit. I'm gonna give it a try.
Right. But I respect you.
Yeah. We'll see how long I last.
I wish you well.
Thank you. $3,000 later.
Oh no, Jeff.
Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Series, PC, iOS, and Android, July 29th. I'm confused about the way this stuff launching. I think it's just like maybe the first 3 games or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It should also just be on everything else as well.
They should just be separately sold on everything.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be like a big, like, we're doing the thing. It's like, this should just be expected.
Indeed.
For a series like Final Fantasy, you should just be able to simply play the games. That's why I always struggle with these to like applaud these companies for it's like, great, you did the thing that just should have been expected that you should have done. Like Nintendo, anytime they bring back old games, like we're doing the 3D All-Stars collection. It's like, whoop-de-fucking-do. It should just already be purchasable, and it's gone.
Yep. Pokemon Unite, Switch, iOS, and Android.
Number 1, baby.
You gave me your gold medal?
My gold medal.
Oh, shit.
My absolute gold medal. And it was a little hard because of another little game later on. And then I guess I'll have the full discussion of how that was hard when we get to that other game. But I did actually choose Pokemon Unite.
Let's go.
Because especially after playing some of it, I really think it's actually mechanically there. Like it's actually mechanically something that I could see myself playing all year and like getting good at and like having different strategies and stuff like that. But seems like definitely a more chill vibe than League of Legends, which is very stressful.
Yeah, and I feel like we discussed the maps and how they're different ones for different way the goals set up and even how many different players, that kind of just adds some variety to it.
Yes. Yeah. All that, whatever fears I had of like this game might not turn out exactly how we wanted or whatever, were mostly alleviated from playing the game, even a little bit that we did.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a game that I like get like mini addicted to. League I'm addicted to. I think this will be like a miniature version of that. But then playing with you and Alex, and Olivia all into it. I am stoked.
Let's go. Yep, coming out sometime this month. Who knows when?
Yeah.
Got a little countdown going, or they're doing character trailers, I think, about every day. So hopefully by when they get to the end of that, sometime in May the next week, we just get a date.
Yep, very excited for just the future of that game and just to see all the different content, like you said, the maps and everything like that. I think it's gonna be good. Yes, I think it's gonna be very good.
Limnus Gate coming out on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and the PC on August 3rd.
I ain't got no clue what this is.
You probably recognize it. I think there are like 2 or 3 games exactly like very similar to this. Let me check something very important related to this. So this is a game, if I'm remembering correctly, who knows, I'm probably not, where it's like a shooter when you're kind of doing like prediction things, like you're going through the motions or something, and there's like an after image version of you that the person is
I remember hearing
against.
about this a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm still confused how this exactly works.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this, and I was confused too. It sounded interesting in concept, but
yes. So the interesting thing about this, Darby, that I've discovered recently and just double checked, this is coming to Game Pass if we wanted to try it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's because a multiplayer shooter, right?
Yeah, it's a multiplayer shooter, but I don't know if it's like one-on-one.
You can like rewind time.
Yes. No, it's not rewind time. Like a turn-based thing where you're kind of going through the motion, or I don't know exactly how it works. It's like you're shooting them, but then you're shooting like their ghost.
Playing some 4D chess over here.
Yeah. I imagine the things like when you think about like how does this work, and then once you kind of get into it and figure it out, it may not be as bad.
I mean, it's obvious. I'm sure it's like combining shooter thing with you playing like mind games with your opponent, which I mean, I'm always like, I'm down with that. I like that kind of thing. Like I'm not really like a just bare mechanic shooter type of person, but even stuff like Valorant and everything where it's like combined shooting elements with like you got to be really strategical. which it sounds like this could be. I mean, it's like I don't know what I'm talking about when I say this, so
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll give it a shot. Sure.
Yeah. Naraka Blade Point for PC, August 12th. They showed this game a lot. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does visually look very impressive.
Yeah, I think I heard some of it was a little rough in like some of the betas and stuff. I'm just thinking. So.
Do you have any interest in actually getting it?
If I can't remember, it's free to play. If you and Alex wanted to jump in or something, I'd probably do it. But
Oh yeah, I forgot it is free. Yeah.
So
I mean, so is it kind of like you can partner up with people and it's just like you get loot and shit? I mean, is that the
it's pretty much like a martial art battle royale.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh right, yeah, right. Yes. Okay, I'm oriented on the thing. Like, yeah, that could be cool.
Got character ability and all that kind of stuff. I think there is definitely potential here.
Yeah.
Different
vibe for Battle Royale. That could be cool. Could definitely be cool.
August 12th as well on Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Linux. Skatebird. It's finally happening, Darby. Game of the year is finally.
I feel kind of bad because I feel like Skatebird is going to be something that we all just like love seeing because it's delightful to see in conferences, but then very few people are going to actually play because I worry that it's like it's a fun concept, but are you going to actually go spend money on it? Because like, is it going to be deep enough? Like, it's just going to be cute for one session, and is it going to really go further than that? And I feel bad saying that, but I mean, do you feel similarly?
Yeah, I do wonder like how it's actually going to do and all that. But good news is for us, it is on Game Pass, so we can give it a try.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't buy it, but I would like sight unseen buy it. But like, Game Pass could be cute.
Yep.
Definitely will be cute. Will it be shallow? Is the problem?
Yes. Humankind on PC, August 17th.
I literally don't even know what this is, but I got on my Fantasy Critic because it's just very obviously Fantasy Critic bait, like fodder. It's but I barely know anything about it.
I expect this to review very well. That was a good pickup from you. I think I tried to pick it up as well at the same time. And yeah,
it's PC Metacritic bait.
Yep. 12 minutes. The Xboxes and PC coming August 19th.
To be honest, I missed 12 minutes. Let me see if that would change.
12 minutes is finally coming out. It's coming to Game Pass, and I am ready.
No, it doesn't change anything.
Okay.
We got him. Yes, very excited for 12 minutes. We thought you could look at our E3 thing. I picked it as one of my E3 games, a show or whatever, games to talk about. Very excited. I still think there is like some things that are left to prove on this game. I mean, like the concept is awesome, and there's just some things like they inherently can't show a lot because it was spoiled thing. So it's like, how is the whole storytelling gonna come together? Like I think there's a chance that this game is disappointing.
Yeah,
but I also think the ceiling is tremendously high. I think this could be a Game of the Year contender. It could, There's just some things that we won't know until people have their hands on it.
Indeed, yeah. I'm excited to play this. Obviously, we're coming on Game Pass, so I'll be playing it right away. We'll obviously be talking about it. Do I do a little spoiler cast on it and all that? Yeah, hopefully it lives up to their hype.
Yeah, I have high hope. I have pretty good feeling about it. So.
But Dark, how do you feel about Madden NFL 22 coming out on everything except the Switch on August 20th?
I'm sure I know exactly what the game will be, Jeff. Has a Madden ever surprised anyone? It's going to be the lowest effort thing possible, but it'll still sell very well.
Yes.
And I bought Madden 20, and my rule is every 5 years. So
after the Bengals win the Super Bowl.
Or after the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Those two things. So
we'll still buy.
Neither of those are going to happen. So I'm not gonna be playing it.
But all right, will you be playing Aliens Fireteam Elite coming out on everything but the Switch, really, on August 24th?
Excuse me. Not a clue what this game is.
It's an Aliens multiplayer.
Oh wait, yeah. Doesn't this look really bad? I heard people talking about it. I've only heard people talk about it on podcasts.
Yes. Moving on. Kena Bridge of Spirits coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC on August 24th.
Baby. So fucking close to being my number 3, but it comes in as honorable mention.
Yes. Yes, not mine either, but yeah, I'm very excited for this game. I think it's also kind of like 12 minutes in a way. There's a lot of hype behind this game. But it's like, okay, there is room to disappoint.
Yeah.
For sure, because this is a unknown team with now very high expectations on this game.
Yeah, that's why we do this as like what's our most anticipated thing, and I do like there is the worry there. Like I think the biggest thing I could see this game just being very short.
Yeah.
Like being like really good, but it's like very, very short. And that could be like to a point where it's like, oh, okay, we were expecting something a little different. Or like short or restrictive. I could see this game end up being like very, very linear, which I expected to be linear, but I could see it being like, well, you really didn't let me do a lot because it's a budget thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, as far as the short, I guess it depends relative, how short is short, but I think they did say at some point this is a game they expect people to finish over like a weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting like the 10, 12 hour-ish mark.
Yeah, what I'm saying by short is like
4 hours.
3-4.
Gotcha.
Is what I'm saying, you know. And it all depends on how it feels. Does it feel complete? You know, does it feel like you had a full story? I think there's going to be some element to this that we have hyped up too much. But I think it's going to be a really good game, you know. Like it's probably more in the gameplay and just this, does it feel like fluid?
And
like
how exactly do the rot play into it? Like what's the game? Like we've seen some kind of clips of the gameplay for them, but what exactly is that feel? What does it feel like? How exactly is that going to work? We still don't know too much about that.
True.
All right, next one. In my gold medal, Psychonauts 2. Coming out on the PlayStations, the Xbox, the PCs on August 25th. Let's go. We are a little over a month away from Game of the Year. Let's go.
About time.
It's about fucking time. Yep. I was wondering, should I put Psychonauts that one? It's the one I'm most hyped about, obviously. Especially now that we're this close, and I have no doubt this is going to meet the
I
release
would
date.
have questions if it wasn't.
Yeah. Like, okay, what is the number one? But yeah, just everything they've showed from this looks very good, and I like how it's thinking back on it, like how restrained the marketing has been. Because you think about on Psychonauts 1 and all the brains you go into and all the stuff in the hub world and all that, and you think about what they've shown here, it's like, yeah, they really haven't shown a lot. I think they said they were actually more brains you hop into. We've probably seen like 3, 4 at most, when they had probably close to 10, I think, in the first game, maybe roughly.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot left to this, game we haven't seen, and based on the creativity we've seen from this stuff so far, I'm expecting crazy things for the rest of the game. This could be really excited.
No, I think this is going to be really special.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, and as far as how long it's taken, like, yeah, they did the whole crowdsourcing, all that kind of stuff too. They got bought by Microsoft, and it's one of the best kind of delay announcements ever. It's like, okay, we're delaying the game because now we got more money to put in stuff we were taking out of the game.
Well, especially them being acquired like halfway through it, probably simultaneously, like it gave them a lot more budget to do things with. But I doubt on that short notice mid game they were able to we also expanded our team by twice the size. It's like it's almost too late for that.
Yeah.
You're too late into this game cycle to introduce all that. Or if you do introduce a bunch of people, it's probably gonna make things take even longer. It's like So it kind of makes sense why it got delayed this much, because it was probably more just cash and not manpower in this trade, or at least not usable manpower. So it makes sense. And also Xbox was like, no, take your time. So it's fine.
No rush to get it done now.
And because it's probably not going to be the biggest seller for Xbox anyway. It's like this is more of a PR move for them and all anyway.
Yeah, and I have it on my fantasy teams, and I obviously believe, and I think the Psychonauts 1 reviewed very well, even if it didn't sell the best. Like, this is going to be a good one. It's like, hey, here's one of our first-party games. Look how good it reviewed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the goal here. I would think.
And it's just a nice one thing. Now we're moving on to my bronze medal. No More Heroes 3 coming on the Switch 2 days later on August 27th. Dear
Why?
God. Why do this to me? Oh, boy. Yep, this is my bronze. I don't think that's that big of a surprise. I am very excited for this game. Some of the gameplay footage visually looks very rough. I'm going to admit that.
But
creatively, it is there. And
foo.
Yes, foo. And the visual things, normally I'm all for the whole 60 frames thing, but Studio's like, no, we're going for 60 frames. Like, maybe you could have done a little more to the visuals. Got a little less of the frame rate. We'll see how it plays. It might look. Yeah. I think it'll look better like once I have it on my TV than.
Yeah, but I would definitely have tempered expectations on that side of things. Yeah. But it has a vibe and style to it that I think it does hit. Even though like the vibe and style almost is more budget looking thing, but it's like it's gonna be a trip. It is gonna be a trip. It's gonna have problems that if you're looking at it from an objective like game design lens, but it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, like it's kind of funny that these two are back to back and kind of for similar reason. I'm excited for this game because all the crazy stuff they could be done in these games and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like you were saying, Psychonauts I expect on a technical level to be just solid all the way around, and just the rest of the stuff just kind of elevates it. No More Heroes, like there are definitely going to be some technical aspects and gameplay stuff that may not be as great, but I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Next game, Kiwi, coming out on everything. August 31st.
Yeah, I forgot which one this was, but now I saw it. It's like, this is you're playing as two like was it like dodo birds or
kiwi birds?
I guess they are kiwi. Yeah, they're like pecking. What is the pecking bird? Hummingbird, whatever. Those type of things. But you're doing a co-op thing. Mm-hmm. It looks like solving puzzles. There's these two little cute birds. Looks like stream bait. I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah, I was trying to see. Let's see. Something just real quick. Let me see if I can find it. I was trying to see if this one was coming Game Pass as well, because like a million things, but it's not. But it looks very good.
Yep, it looks very cute.
Yep. All right, next game, Lake. Huber bait.
Yeah, I've seen like tiny bits of this, and I'm like somewhat interested. So is it like you're just doing like deliveries and stuff? Does something happen, or is it just like a very sim?
I think I think the story is pretty much this lady's like taking a break from her job or something to that effect. So she's just becoming a male person in this town for like 2 weeks, and you're just building bonds and going for that. I don't know. There's supposed to be like some kind of more sinister thing to it, or how deep this goes as far as like relationships and drama and stuff. Or
Cthulhu comes later. Yeah. But that's towards the end.
Okay. So, well, it'd be cute.
Yeah. And I want to crash the mail truck.
Yeah.
Off the bridge.
I want to run people over.
Please let there be a police system like a GTA police system. Oh wait, is this wait, Jeff. Is this a Strand game?
It might be a Strand game.
I think this is a Strand game.
Yep.
You're carrying packages. You're connecting this broken country, one package at a time. This is a Strand game.
Oh fuck!
You heard it here first.
We thought Kojima was working on Silent Hill all along, but he's actually working on Lake.
Surprise!
But Darby, do you think Kojima is working on Riders Republic, which is coming out on everything but Switch on September 2nd?
I mean, Kojima's in all of our hearts, so
true.
He's kind of
technically working on every game.
In every game,
Yeah.
Well, none of us would be here without Kojima. So.
That's true.
I know some other people are excited about this game. It does look cool. Not my jam though.
Sonic Colors Ultimate coming on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC on September 7th.
Go off.
I'm excited for this one. I don't know when I'm actually going to get around to it because late August and September are just wild for me. So I'm probably going to wait on this one. And I guess wait for it to go down in price. But I am excited for this one. This seems to sound like the best Sonic game I have not played. It's... Sonic games are very hit or miss, Darby. Emphasis on the miss.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But this is one of the ones that the fan base just really collectively comes out and say, no, this one's good.
Good.
Especially for 3D games. So I'm excited to actually play it. Looks nice.
Speaking of colors,
Life is Strange True Colors was coming on PS5, Xbox Series X. Well, okay, everything. It's coming on fucking everything.
Everything! On your toast.
On my toast.
You'll be sitting there crying while you're making toast.
I do that every morning.
We gotta play 2 before this comes out. That's our deadline, damn it. I refuse to buy this and play this game until we've played 2.
Yeah.
I would just refuse. It would be such a stupid thing to do. We gotta play 2.
It would.
So
I'm tempted to start 2 after the podcast,
you
but
probably should. That's probably a wise thing to do because you do have a deadline.
I do have a deadline.
You have a deadline right there.
I might do that. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to try this game out. Unfortunately, it seems like not a lot of people in our gaming sphere are excited besides the hardcore Life is Strange fans, it looks like.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it does. It's one of those games that doesn't show well.
No, it sucked. We had Holden and Brent on, and everyone was kind of like roasting this game.
And me and Dari are like, but we're excited.
I'm gonna really like it. I mean, I can't like. I understand why people don't like Life is Strange, and I understand why these like really long shows or like showcases.
Yep.
When you're around certain people, it does become the guilty pleasure thing or whatever. But I'm glad that me and you see eye to eye on teen romance stuff that we can like kind of fall into sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. Max Outfield in our Character Hall of Fame.
And there she is, where she belongs.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Next one, Tales of Arise, kind of on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, September 10th.
Bronze medal, baby.
Silver medal, baby.
Oh, there it is.
It's my last medal.
Yep, I still got one more.
What could it be?
But yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
This is my bronze, baby. So excited. But lots riding on it. It definitely still has a chance to disappoint because there's two Tales games in a row I've been disappointed in, honestly, to the varying levels. I think Berseria is still a good game. I think Zestiria is not a good game. But neither one of them have like really been impressive to me. But I think there are a lot of changes going on with this. I think the combat looks much improved. I am very bummed about not being able to play it with you. Very, very, very bummed.
It's one of those things that I kind of think about, and it might be worth that whole thing, but like the trade-off to play together. But I do see like the combat might be better because of it, just because they don't have to focus on making it work for.
I think it will be.
player.
I mean, it would be it would have been a different game. You would have to design a different type of game.
Just the camera angles you gotta mess with just to make sure all 4 people fit on the screen.
This is way better for Tales to get noticed by other people. Is to make this type of game. I think. But there is just like it was just such a unique thing to have a JRPG that I could play with you. That was just a cool thing. So it's sad that that's not being continued. But if I put that possibility out of my mind, I think this game looks very good. Yeah. And I think the combat looks way more. The combat and the world exploration look way better than any Tales game previously. Way better.
I think something to get excited about as far as like, you're missing Zestiria and Berseria is the fact of the matter is there wasn't that much time in between those games and their predecessors. There's 5 years in between Berseria and this in Arise, which is the longest, I would probably by a fair margin, I imagine, since between Tales games.
Yeah.
So they've let this one cook.
And you can tell why. It looks like it deserves that time frame. And like if any series needed to take time to like really actually put budget into something, it was Tales. Yeah. Like it was at saturation point. It was and I think a lot of people like it was just never the series was never gonna grow, and it was just gonna slowly bleed out if it kept doing what it was doing.
Yeah.
Like it was gonna slowly start losing people more and more. Like if the next game looked like Berseria, I probably would have said, "Sorry, Jeff, we're not doing this." If it just looked like it wasn't taking a leap. But this game does, and I think visually it looks incredible. I think the combat looks like it has a lot of Tales elements of like you managing your party and having different JRPG type moves and stuff, but it looks way more involved and like just mechanically more interesting. The only thing that is like a question mark on this game is story. I think a lot of the story trailers have looked very generic. The very serious JRPG generic stuff. I'm hoping the cast, I mean, that's the thing with Tales games, like Xillia and Vesperia and stuff, and even Berseria, the cast is so damn good, and I'm hoping we still get that here.
Yeah. It's hard to tell, from that at this point, because we haven't really seen too much of the cast. So
Yeah.
just don't know.
We don't know. But my anticipation is very high. And I can play this on PC, and it's going to be 60 frames, and it's going to look fucking great. I have a new appreciation for this type of art style in 60 frames on PC after both Dragon Quest 11 and Monster Hunter Stories 2. I'm like, okay, this like kind of more anime, but like almost HD anime, if that makes any sense, looks real damn nice in 60 frames. Like real damn nice.
Trying to see.
Which you would not think these type of games is the one that you're like really worried about frame rate and that kind of stuff with, but it's like I love this new type of like Dragon Quest 11 is just like really the first one to like turn me on to it, and it's like, all right, this you can do this type of anime aesthetic, but with like super great particle effects and lighting and all this.
Yeah. Yes. For me, I'm planning on getting on PS5. Luckily, I won't have to worry about it as far as because it'll have the fidelity mode or performance mode. Obviously, you don't have 4K, so I just go for that straight 60, baby.
Yeah,
It'll look
baby.
fantastic. Load times will probably be non-existent.
Yeah.
I think they said there's going to be some haptic stuff in it, so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Very
I
nice.
am excited. Yeah, I think after Tales, besides like one or two things we might mention, I don't think there's much I'm planning on getting, so which will be nice because this is going to be a long JRPG. I think about the only other game I'm planning on getting is another JRPG, but I'll get done with this before I play that.
I plan to settle in, get cozy.
Yeah, and even then I would have like 2 months or something. But let's move on. Oh, I just noticed another game I'm planning on playing. Oh, whatever. We'll get to it. Same day, WarioWare Get It Together on Switch.
Hey.
September 10th. Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Get it together, man.
Yep. I am very curious how this game's going to play because, it will... What will make or break it is the fact that you are actually playing as the WarioWare characters and not just whatever random bullshit they do during the micro games. Because normally it'd be like, okay, tap this or do that, move the sticks this way, or a bunch of other random stuff. But now that you're the characters and they each have their own abilities, but you are controlling them, so that kind of in some ways might limit it a little bit.
Okay.
It's be interesting to see how that affects it. But it's also kind of if the character stuff works and the game still feel good, is actually kind of exciting as far as like replay value and stuff. Because when you go and do those games with different characters and they have different abilities, you'll have to think, oh wait, I'm this character. I can't do like I did with last time with the other one. I gotta do
that is cool.
Yeah, there's some people that can fly and do all this stuff. There's some people that just stuck on the ground and can only fire like guns from far
So there was
away.
nothing like that in previous WarioWares, like with the guy. That's cool. It almost has like a 3D world thing where everyone has different abilities.
And also, it would be fun, like honestly, something that solidified me getting this game. Besides the Target deal, it's the fact it is co-op. So me and you playing could be a lot of fun.
I'm down. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Excited. Yeah. I hope it has. I hope it has enough content. I guess I'm just like carrying over my fears of other recent Nintendo things. That maybe I shouldn't be attaching to this game yet, but I have like some worries about that. But
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. September 14th, Deathloop on PS5 and PC.
yeah, this could definitely be a wild card one that I end up getting and really liking. It just kind of depends. I'm really definitely going to be
Keeping an eye
on the
pulse.
reviews as soon as I know when the review date is. I'm definitely going to be like reading everyone's reviews on this one.
Yeah.
But I certainly think it has a chance of being something.
I'm very curious because like Brad Ellis from Easy Allies is a giant Arcane fan. I'm very curious like his opinions on this.
Yeah, it's preview. Like there's people who are really excited about it. I think it could break either way. I feel like.
I agree. I counterpicked this game on our fantasy critic,
Which I think is fair because there wasn't a lot of good options.
Yeah, at the time.
It's fair.
But it's like I am worried because well, not worried as far as that. I want the game to be good. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm worried in the general sense. Yeah, it could fall either way, and I feel like this could be a stealth, like maybe game of the year contender, maybe just like the tier below that if they hit what they're trying to.
Because concept wise, it has a unique enough thing, a concept to like really separate it from Borderlands. It's just a bunch of other like just kind of wacky shooters with the whole time loop thing, almost semi roguelike, but not like hardcore roguelike thing, but just the like you're repeating things and learning something every time, like doing different things in different ways. I think could be really, really cool. It's and it's something I can't remember if I knew before, but I was reminded on it. I can't remember if it was on Easy Allies podcast or what, saying like there is a specific like
route you have to take to technically beat the game. And when I heard that, I'm like, I don't know how I felt about that. I don't know if like
Like you have to do something in a certain order?
like because you got a certain amount of targets and you pretty much have to kill them in a certain order. I heard that, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, because it could be cool trying to figure that out like a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that, but it's also like that kind of takes away some freedom from it, if that's the case. But this is me just hearing from one thing, so that might not be true.
Maybe that's just like when you finally decide to punch it in, you have to do it in a certain order. But like learning about the world, you do any other order, which is still maybe a little bit of a bummer, but less of a bummer. I don't know.
I can't remember. Did they say you could turn off the whole people invading you thing?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Don't know.
If I got it, I would hope so, because I'm bad enough at this shooter as it is.
Yeah.
That's an added stress thing I
that
don't
whole
need.
element has never necessarily sounded like it would be fun to me. Like that sounded like a weird thing that's going off on the side. Like,
But like stuff like Dark Souls and stuff with that kind of stuff, I'm like, man, I'm bad. I have enough trouble with this game. I don't need anyone coming in here and fucking up my shit.
All right, we definitely need to pass by things we don't care about, like Rainbow Six Extraction.
It'll sell well. Review? Who knows?
Diablo 2.
Yeah, coming out PC September 23rd. This is going to do very well.
Yeah, we flirted with Diablo a few times. I mean, I still think 3 would be the one that we should probably get into if we're going to get into one, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But people have say Diablo 2 is the best, and this seems to be more like more of a remake, is sounding like, maybe than a remaster as we thought.
Yeah, so maybe this one,
Yeah. We'll see. Sable coming on the Xboxes and the PCs on September 23rd. You listened to us talk last week where we weren't that high on the demo, unfortunately.
No, sad.
But I'm hoping that, it comes out better than maybe we're hoping. It reviews well, and it does well. Because it is a very good looking game.
It is.
Creativity there. Lost Judgment coming out on all the home consoles. Not PC for some reason, according to this. Huh. Weird. Actually, let me check that. I felt like it would have been. Coming out September 24th. One of those things just feels good about getting a sequel to this game pretty quick.
Yep. I feel like we'll do the same thing we do for every Yakuza game that's ever announced anywhere. We're like, oh, yeah, that's great. That's really cool. There's too many. I haven't played any of the other things, so why would I jump into this one first?
Yeah. I mean, Judgment at the time, Judgment and Like a Dragon made sense to jump in.
I think Yakuza is just perpetually one of those series that is on everyone's. I should get to that list, and then you never do.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized what your silver was. Okay, cool. Life is Strange Remastered Collection coming out September 30th on everything but Switch, but will come out later. Yeah, I don't know how this one's going to be looked at, considering the upgrade don't look minimal.
Yeah, I don't really feel a super need to get this personally. I don't know about you, but like
I kind of did when they described it. Maybe it's a way to replay it. It could be cool, but after actually seeing the side by side stuff, I'm like,
sounds like something you would buy and then never actually end up playing. You would just have bought it. You would just throw money in a hole, basically. I mean,
there is a chance I might just have it. Let's say I finish like Life is Strange 2 and some good amount of time before True Colors, so I pre-order or something. I can't remember the exact pricing, so I'd look at that first. But there is like a deluxe version that comes with the remastered thing that I don't think was bad price wise. The main reason I would get that because it comes with the episode with Steph in it, where you play as her, like before the events of True Colors, which I would won't either way.
Yeah.
So
true.
I'd look into that. If not too much more, I might just like, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
So yeah, Far Cry 6 coming out on everything but Switch, October 7th.
I think I'm gonna get it. I mean, I'm kind of more in the mood for Far Cry than I ever have been in a long time, because I've just skipped multiple, and this one kind of looks like it's just more fun, but without the cringiness that 5 had.
Yeah, so I mentioned before, this one looks more interesting to me, so I selfishly want you to try it out for me.
Yeah, the world looks like fun to go around in. I don't think it's going to be anything that blows our mind, but it doesn't look like actively irritating like 5 was. Like the characters and world in 5 just like I would be rolling my eyes constantly, and that's what everyone who played it said.
Yeah.
And this looks like it has less of that. I think there's going to be problems with it, and it's going to be like not the most innovative thing in the world, but like it looks like it's going more for let's just do wacky gameplay. We know what you want here. Let's just do that.
You want to toss CDs at people's heads? Go for it.
Yes. So I think I'm gonna buy it. Unless just the reviews come out and it's like horrible. I think I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that out because I have no idea what it is. Okay, next game, which I assume is your silver medal, Metroid Dread.
My silver medal for Metroid Dread. So excited for this game.
That barely missed it. I was struggling between that and No More Heroes. Like, No More Heroes. I've been waiting for that.
It was like a razor's edge for this and Pokemon Unite for number one.
Gotcha.
I think ultimately I think I'm just like so into the multiplayer loop of League, and like Pokemon Unite looks like it's gonna give me a different version of that and everything. It's like, if I'm being honest with myself, I think I'm gonna play Pokemon Unite way more anyway. And I think that like I think I am like a little bit more excited for that. I think Metroid Dread definitely has a chance of being higher on my end of the year list. But if you ask me right now, I think Pokemon Unite is a tiny bit more. But they're so different.
I can understand for Unite as far as it getting their edge, because you just played the demo not long ago. You were very high on it, and it's imminent. Like, yes, it can come out any time at this point.
yes, that is definitely a part of it too.
But yeah, I'm excited for Metroid Dread. It's fun to see people just really excited for Metroid, and for something that's actually coming out.
Yeah, and then me and you like both like really dug that art style. With a lot, some people had problems with it. I'm like really like it. I've gone back and watched that Treehouse thing like multiple times because I just think that game looks rad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just like the art style and just mechanically, and just again the way I mentioned it when we were talking about everything, just the way the animations are just so good. I love it.
And just like it looks like such a cool different version of the Metroid like exploring a map type of thing. Like it feels modern but also feels like feels like a perfect mix of those two. And then the horror vibes are just so dope. It's like, I don't know,
it's so weird that this is 2D Metroid game. Everyone said for Prime. I think Prime could overtake it at the time, but we could be talking about the best-selling Metroid game when all said and done. Because that's like in our circles, Metroid's talking about this big franchise, but I think the top-selling game is below 3 million.
Yeah, no, it's not that big of a franchise. Really.
I think if it gets that Switch bomb, especially with the excitement, I think it could easily be the best-selling Metroid.
I can see it for sure. Yeah, I'm so stoked.
But Darry, how stoked are you for Back 4 Blood coming out on the consoles and PC on October 12th?
Also pretty darn stoked.
My excitement did go up a fair amount once that Game Pass announcement came, because again, I was interested. I was interested in playing with you guys, but it had to be like, okay, I need to see how it is before I drop the money on it. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, I'm playing with you guys. There's no question.
Let's go. Yeah. Again, I don't think this is going to be like top of our game of the year thing, but I think it's going to be a darn good time.
Yes.
Even if we just play it like, even though it's like several sessions, we play it, we have a good time, we put it away.
Maybe drop in when there's a big update or something.
I'm A-okay with that. You know, it's going to be, but Left 4 Dead was very replayable and was fun. Like, I think we're going to have a good time. Like, how long that good time will last, who knows? But I think
you might know this more than I'm part of this. I'm sure you will know, but I'm curious if you've heard this. So Left 4 Dead had like created like user created maps. And stuff, right?
Yeah.
Did they say Back 4 Blood's having that or not?
I'm not sure. Not sure. I could easily see that, or if it's not here now, maybe it'll be in the future. But I get the vibe that this game is probably going to be supported with like more things definitely coming, but I'm not sure about that. To be honest.
I feel like as far as like we've talked about, there's a lot of four player PvE games, but I feel like it's the one that kind of has the more hype around it, and it makes sense considering the pedigree and what it's more closely emulating, and it's the people who created the original one or helped. So
yes, I think this game's gonna do pretty darn well.
Yep. Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes coming out on most things but Switch October 21st. I expect this to be like the other ones where it comes out to around the 70s review wise and just coming up.
We could have a whole main topic about this. They got an abandoned ship on Dark Pictures Anthology. I don't think there's anything any of them can do.
They just announced the title of the next one.
Unfortunately, it was a decent idea, but at this point, like, I think you probably feel the same way. I don't think there's anything they can do, because and I think everyone else agrees, whenever you see one of these announced, it's already like, well, I'm so behind the curve now. I haven't played any of these other ones, and it's just starting to become this daunting thing that it's like, I'm never going to play these games. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
Well,
it's just too.
I mean, it'd be one thing if it's the games, the ones that came out have sounded like they're on the level of Until Dawn. Because if they were, we would have played them by now.
Yeah.
But they're coming out to very middling reviews.
Well, that's
and
like,
opinions.
even if one comes out and they're like, this was really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm probably just the daunting aspect of all these other games that I probably should play. I know they're not connected, but like Dark Pictures Anthology, the name is almost an instant like. I'm not even looking. I'm not thinking about it. So they need an abandoned ship. I'm sorry, they need to just drop it.
But they have that contract signed. Battlefield 2042 coming out on everything, consoles, PC, not Switch. October 22nd. This game looks very good.
Yes, it does. It looks very fun.
It's going to sell hotcakes.
I hope. I mean, Battlefield 5 didn't.
True. I feel, yeah.
But I do think there's a little bit more hype.
I think there's more hype in there because I know people are disappointed about the single player, but the multiplayer is what people come in for. And I don't know. At least to me, people seem very excited for what it's doing. And to me, as far as military shooter goes, it looked like the most fun multiplayer.
Yeah,
and just the craziest.
I might try the EA Play access for a little bit, but like I just have other multiplayer shit. I doubt I would like buy this, but
might as well, since we have a limited amount of time. Let me know when you do that, and we jump in together.
Yeah.
Kind of line that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy coming out on everything, including Switch, on October 26th.
Only streaming though.
Yes, only on the streams. I was interested in this game when it was announced and shown. I mean, it still is good, and there's always a chance I get to it at some point. But as I looked at my schedule, I'm like, unfortunately, I just gotta get my head a pass on this game for now.
I mean, you might. Well, you'll probably still be playing Tales, but you might.
Yeah.
You did say that is kind of. It's like after September. There's not a lot, right? So.
Yeah, there's besides smaller stuff, which we'll get to. There's like one main game I'm eyeing.
That could be a Christmas time play and go through potentially. But,
yeah.
But Shin Megami Tensei got coming in December.
That's the one. Age of Empires 4 on PC October 28th. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I should maybe get into some of these. At least there's like remakes of Age of Empires because it always looks like it's. I really like the art style and it looks fun. But it's getting into strategy games is daunting. It's one of those things that you like drag your feet about doing constantly, and then once you play it, you're like, oh, why wasn't I playing this whole time? But then you get to the next strategy game, and it's like, it's gonna be too much. It's gonna be too hard, and you play. At least me, I go through that cycle all the time.
Yeah. On October 29th, Mario Party Superstars, baby.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I feel like I feel better about this game going into it. Like, you mentioned, I think smartly so, when people are looking to get this game, you need to buy it, like being happy with the content that's in the package. Yeah. And that's definitely smart. Yes. And based on what I saw, I feel happy about that, especially again with the price I'm paying for it. Yeah. Because it has more boards than Super Mario Party. The boards are, I don't even know what they all are. I just know because of the old boards, like remakes of them, they're just immediately more interesting.
Yeah.
And just more mini games, and I know they're quality ones. I don't need to fear that. And also, this is something I'm slightly bummed about, but because it's mainly old games, they're not really going to be motion controlled ones. I know some people are like, no motion controlled, but for Mario Party games, they don't need all to be motion control, but some of them I think it's fun.
Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, I think it's going to be a very fun time. I hope that we get a little bit more out of it than Super Mario Party. Yeah. But
I feel like what will help is the fact that Olivia said she's getting it and online. So as long as we can do two people on one console, two on the other, we can get a good bit of stuff out of that.
Play more often, I guess, yeah. But also, playing it together will be a lot of fun. Yeah. I definitely had fun with Super Mario Party.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, and I'm not even asking for too much more. It's not like Mario Party is a game that we need to be able to play all the time, constantly. It's fine to play it every now and then. I don't need it to be like the main game we play or anything.
Yeah.
But I hope we don't feel like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel quite so fast.
I agree. And most people agree. It's not an uncommon opinion whatsoever. Yeah. Forza Horizon 5 on Xboxes and the PCs November 9th. A pretty game.
Very pretty.
It's going to sell a good bit. It reviewed very well.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
On November 12th, on this man's birthday.
Happy birthday, me. Jeff gets to play a game.
Yep, I'm excited for this one. But I'm going to finish Tales first.
Yeah, fair.
Not doing that before.
Probably wise. Very wise.
But good news is I got 2 months in between, so yeah. And not too
Oh,
many
you'll
years.
be done.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It is a JRPG.
Yep.
Right into another JRPG.
Yep. I am very excited for this one. I'm ready for it to kick my butt and I cry, but
Absolutely.
watch my demons die.
There is a chance that I get this game, but right now, looking at it, I'm not super interested. But
The good news is you'll get
there's-
impressions from me and Jacob before. So
very true.
well, and I can get a physical copy, so you can borrow that. So
That'd be
no
even
cost
better.
to you.
Even better.
Yep. On November 19th, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl. Yep. I'm not getting these games anytime soon.
Really?
Well, I mean,
Really?
yeah.
Mr. Pokemon.
Yeah. The only reason I would try to get it right away is if we were doing a Nuzlocke, but it's been a couple months.
We're behind them.
Yeah,
though,
on
we're
this
way
one.
behind.
So yeah. That's the way it's going to be. And Pokemon Legends Arceus is 2 months later.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously much more excited for that one.
I fully believe that Nintendo cheated themselves out of a Jeff sale by having those games so close together.
It definitely hurt.
Because if Jeff had the daunting prospect of no Pokemon game on the horizon, there's no way you would have let this pass.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yep. You know me well. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp on Switch on December 3rd. It's going to be a very interesting one. I'm very curious. Sales and reception.
I would be interested, but not at that price point. I'm sorry.
I feel like, because obviously this is a game they're trying to revive, and that price point hurts it greatly.
It does. And I have enough $60 games that I'm buying around this time. I'm sorry. This would be a little bit of a gamble for me anyway. I'm just not going to pay $60 for it. I hate to say it. I'm not.
Yeah. Shame. Dying Light 2, Stay Human.
I do not.
Coming out on the consoles besides Switch and PC on December 7th. Looks pretty good. I think it's one of those games that I think Brandon Jeff from Easy Allies said this recently, and I wholeheartedly agree. Where Dying Light was a good game that had a lot of promise but didn't completely do that, and this just kind of looks like one of those sequels that just takes the promise of that and just actually succeeds on it.
Yeah,
because it looks really like. I think what they showed so far is really good, and
it looks very well made.
Yeah. And just kind of a polished up version of the first one and just expanded on. And I could see this being on a lot of people's Game of the Year lists.
I can see that. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like commercial like craziness.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot of it's going to be that sleeper hit there. A lot of people are like, "Why aren't you talking like this? Is my Game of the Year?" This was
I think it's going to be one of those where I can see it, going along with that. Because this is probably coming out like the day of the Game Awards. People are like, Dying Light's one of the best games of the year, but it's not going to be nominated for this, and probably not going to be big enough to make it to the next year.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Oh, that reminds me of something fun we can maybe do in the coming weeks. Predict the Game of the Year nominees.
And predict what is Cyberpunk going to get or not get. That'll be interesting.
Okay, yeah, we'll save that.
It's interesting. Yeah. I said it's interesting.
There's a whole collection of it, but I selected one part of it. Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp on Switch. It's that board game thing with the JRPG.
So the board game is a separate game. It's not.
Yes, I can buy that separately.
All right.
And will I do it? Yes.
Sight unseen. Yes.
Yes.
It has a 2 on Metacritic. Just saying. You said yes.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. I guess it depends when it comes out, but I'm curious.
It might be trash.
I'm expecting it to be trash.
How much is it?
I don't know.
He doesn't know. He's gonna buy it anyway. $80.
I'm expecting $19.99 at the most. Maybe. Yeah.
So is it like a Mario Party?
I don't know.
He doesn't even know what the hell he's getting. He just literally doesn't know anything.
That's the fun of it.
Oh my god.
Well, though we all know you're gonna play Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier.
Yeah, because I don't have to buy this shit. And I'm not buying this shit. No money will go into this garbage.
Game of the year right there, right?
I will play like one match. It'll be very bad, and I'll delete the app. That'll be the end of The First Soldier. The Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale.
But Darby, what if there's story implications at the end?
Then I'll see him on YouTube.
The coward right here, am I right?
Absolutely. Here I am, number one coward boy. See, I'm on this like Square Enix crazy Japanese bullshit. Like I'm on this train. I like mocked your Kingdom Hearts one, it lovingly mocked it. I'm on the train here, but the difference between me and you is I'm not going to play these card collector games, Battle Royale. I'm like, what? If there's story stuff in it, YouTube is a great tool.
Hey, I didn't buy Melody in Memory.
Wonderful tool. And so, I'm surprised and very proud of you.
Thank you. I had great restraint. But does Microsoft have great restraint with Halo Infinite? I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I did it. Coming out on Xbox and the PCs. I'm very curious about this one.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play multiplayer with Alex at least.
Yeah.
I think we will have a good time with that.
You know, I'll jump in with you guys too. Let's go.
All right, then sweet. Then I'll play multiplayer with all.
I don't need to pay for it either way.
Okay. Campaign, I don't know. I could easily see myself not playing through all the campaign if it's, because I'm so behind on the Halo story, and it's kind of just seems like this is more Halo. So,
yeah,
I don't know. But at least the multiplayer, I'm pretty excited for.
Yep. Hollow Knight Silksong, Switch PC. Who knows what's coming out this year? Right now, it's still scheduled too. But it's also one that could be a day could be announced and come out 2 weeks later.
And we have nothing interesting to say because me and you both need to play Hollow Knight before we even consider getting Silksong. So
yep, Game of the Year contender, whatever year it comes out.
Oh yeah,
Horizon Forbidden West.
It ain't coming this year.
Is not.
I don't think so.
I'm very curious. I think there's a chance. I do buy like the theories that they were waiting on Breath of the Wild 2 before trying to solidify a date.
Good.
So whenever we get a Sony thing, I could see them putting that date down.
Yeah. I mean, I say it ain't coming. It could. It certainly could, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Inscription coming to PC. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. That was the weird like card horror game. Yep. That was very, very interesting.
Yep. Craziness.
Very crazy, yes.
Little Devil Inside. It's supposed to come out this month. I haven't heard anything about it.
That's troubling.
Yeah.
Not have any further thing.
Maybe they're ready for a Sony event. I don't know. And Lost in Random on last gen consoles and PC. It's that EA game, Tim Burton looking one.
Oh, yeah.
The dice.
Right.
Which we are apparently they're going to be showing off. They specifically mentioned this game on the EA Play Live, their main event. So maybe we get a release date. I haven't had this on my list of games to buy, but this is one I am looking closely at. It looks good.
Well, hopefully we'll see it. Hopefully it looks good.
Yep.
And that's it. That's all the video games. We didn't miss a single one. That is every video game
that ever existed.
And will ever exist. Yep. Because the world will be swallowed into a giant black hole after that. After Lost in Random comes out. So.
Yep.
Enjoy life while you can, folks.
Yep.
And we hope you enjoyed this podcast. I sure did.
Me too.
And we'll be back next week with more hot shit. Maybe some Monster Hunters impressions.
True.
And I mean, hell, maybe not on this podcast, but on our YouTube channel and a Spoilercast channel, maybe a Black Widow Spoilercast with me and Jeffy, because we are planning to watch that this Friday.
That's true. That's true.
Pretty hype. And then probably somewhere after that, maybe a Loki Spoilercast.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Will on that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yep. And I guess maybe next week. I finished it. Might as well wait for Daria at this point. Ratchet and Clank final impressions.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. So maybe tonight/tomorrow/ sometime this week, maybe I'll get there. We'll see. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.